Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do a video because this chart I made is gold is the top collateral, guys. By the way, all this NVIDIA and apes talk about NVIDIA and all these other things and bitcoins. And, no, it's gold. Gold topped in 2020, and when it corrected, it took away all the dark pools, all the collateral, all the games they played. And that's right when it started correcting and margins got squeezed is when the first AMC, I don't call that a rally, a bounce happened. And then, just a few, let's see here, April, 2 months after gold finishes correction, that stuff takes time, guys. So when gold corrects, it takes months for that to take, and then that means interest rates are going up, borrows rates are going, all those things, different things start happening like what's happening now. So all the things that happen, why people have to sell their gold, are happening again, and it's worse than ever. So the sneaky thing about the market and these big guys that think they own everything is it hits you in the most safe feeling places first. Okay, so what's going on right now with the most safe? People feel safe in their house, right? Well, houses are crashing. Next, gold is crashing, silver will crash, and then guess what? The market will crash. So it hits you where you don't expect, or that you think, well, the market's up and everybody feels good. No, the market will keep being fine for a while. I won't tell you how long. I released that stuff to my members. I'm going to do a quarterly update pretty soon here for members. I'm going to rearrange I did give them the whole gold and silver. I gave them the whole path of gold and silver exactly, almost about 4 or 5 months. I think it was right when gold topped and silver topped. I gave them like exactly what to do, how to trade it, and it came out perfect pretty much. I did a video on that, just members only, months ago. But here's the good thing. This is why I'm making this also an AMC video. Is this is going to end up being a false breakout on gold. This is a giant head and shoulders, guys. This is a double top, an Adam and Eve top, one of the nastiest ones you can have, right up to here, and then you just made a third lower high right now, a false breakout on this thing. People are probably all getting excited calling it a wedge. It's a pennant, guys, and pennants are always neutral. Pennants are always neutral. Okay, so the only true way, and I like this because it has AMC on here, but let me go over the relationship to AMC, and then I won't show you how to draw a channel on gold right now. But pennants are, you can use them for resistance lines, and they usually, if they break out, it's always the wrong way first. So this one, I'm going to finally adjust it. I haven't adjusted this. No, I'm going to leave it. But this, you could say this wasn't really a false breakdown because it just tested this support. But I'm going to leave it because I drew this chart in January, and I drew the path in January this year. So do you think I'm going to change my view on gold that it's going to have a false breakout right here when I drew this 8 months ago? No, no. So there's one thing about me is I don't change my views. I don't get happy, anything like that. So I think this is another reason why overnight this might begin, this false breakout. And let's look at it a little closer. And then, let's just look at gold. And I know it's a false breakout because I drew this chart 8 months ago and look how it tracked. I mean, it's literally picture perfect. I did not change a thing in 8 months. I just now pulled up this chart. I pull it up every few months and I'm like, no way. And I repost it. So yeah, this is going to end up being a false breakout. It's going to go right through the bottom trend line. It's just going to start crashing into the end of the year. So it's going to rug everybody. And let me go over something. So look here. We said within 2 months after gold corrected in 2020 or whatever, that AMC got some action. Well, look what happened when gold hit all-time highs. Within 2 months, AMC hit all-time lows. Are you starting to see the relationship here? Collateral. And then Only recently, once gold started correcting, did AMC. Every correction of gold, AMC went up a leg. Corrected again, AMC went up a leg. Uh, Rolled over, based, AMC went up. Can't get up higher because gold went up. Gold's going to start crashing. It just needs to crash a little right now because all the leverage. So that's why AMC has not went anywhere. Look, ever since gold stopped going down, AMC has not hit a new high. From here, gold topped. AMC bottomed like exactly 2 months later, just like in 2021, exactly 2 months after gold took its second crash. AMC, that'll be our second leg, by the way, guys. It'll probably be after gold gets down here. It'll be after gold crashes, maybe 2 months. It'll be our second leg. But for our first leg, it's just going to be when gold starts grabbing margin calls. Okay, there's an old saying that when gold is falling, margin is calling, and it's very true. So because, like I said again, AMC hit all-time lows when gold was going up, right? Because that was record margin. That's all that's telling you. There's too much money in the system. And then as soon as gold hit its first low, AMC went up to 100, 200%? No, 100, from 93 cents to 180. Gold went down again, AMC went up. Gold went down again, AMC went up. Gold started going up, AMC hasn't went up, hasn't made a new high since. You got it? So all those Kenny and this and that and margins, there is no better direct relationship. I scoured everything. I tried Bitcoin, and gold is always the one. It is the collateral that you guys are always hoping to find or whatever. And it's literally when you see AMC just start mooning inverse, you'll see gold crashing harder, I believe. And right now, because I have 7 stocks on radar, I think, or 5 stocks, and I'm trying to find one that's not mooning for my. I gave them to my members all at low prices, like FWDI, Forward Industries. They hold the most Solana. I told them that at $4, and it's like a 7. I told them I said you can get options on MSTR at $90. That thing almost like doubled, right? MSTR is at like 140. I'm a little skeptical, by the way, guys, on the. It may continue on the crypto. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I'm going to watch how when metals start doing what they're doing, because metals and crypto go together a lot of times. So, but I think it just may be one of those things. All the super bearish, risky things run, while housing crashes and gold and silver crashes. So I think it's just going to be opposite day. So I think crypto will actually do better. It's just too bearish, and it still is too bearish. So that's my video. It's probably I'm probably the only person in the world you'll ever hear this from, and you'll probably never hear it again. You'll probably never believe it, but you'll sit and watch it happen because it will happen exactly the way I said this. You guys realize I've been here in 2008. I've been here in year 2000. I've been in the market in 1998. No, I think that was a little early. I think I started right around 99, late 99 in the market, somewhere around that period. But when I was 12 years old, my first trade, I'm 50 something, by the way. So when I was 12, I used to trade off a newspaper. My dad handed me a newspaper at the breakfast table when I was 12, and he said, pick a stock, and I picked Washington Mutual. And he put all the kids' money in Washington Mutual. And then it went like straight up. And then he said, pick another stock. And I did that for many years. And not even my brothers and sisters know about it. But yeah, for many years, my dad used to. I traded all the college funds and everything for the family, and nobody had any idea. We would just go and talk, and we'd go on a walk, and I would just say I like this one, and I'd research it or whatever. I started with banks, and I didn't do utilities. I did really safe stuff, but I did get out of banks at good times, but whatever. That's the way trading used to be. You used to read the paper and look at and just know things. You didn't. It was never this involved. Like it's so over involved now that it's almost like silly, right? Because if you step back, and that's lately that's like with AMC, I'm too involved. But I just want to hurry up and be super involved and then never be involved again. But all the other stocks, it's like I don't give a crap, right? It's just like I want this to be over so bad. Look at how mirror perfect. Like that's a mirror, guys. But yeah, it's just like I want it over. It's not, and yeah, it should run, but it's set up tonight. The best it's been set up I've been watching it since February 2024. So as of tonight, it's got the best rocket ship setup that I've seen in it since February 2024. So yeah. And then with gold rolling over, and once people realize overnight or in the morning this is a false break on gold, or if it confirms tonight, I'm not even looking at it close, guys, by the way. I'm just saying I drew this chart 8 months ago, and gold's going to come up and it's going to false break and it's going to crash down to at least half price. So whatever it is now, 45 is going to 22 probably, but probably around half price. So you have, this is an Adam and Eve. See, it's like a penis, and then it's like a booby. That's called an Adam and Eve. That's a brutal thing. And then if you can't beat this high, that's your top. So this is your first lower high, second lower high, third lower high. This is the best spot in the world to short anything. Let it top, let it slam, and then let it try and rally up, and it can't pass this high, so it's not bullish. It can't pass this high, so it's definitely not bullish. It can't pass either of those, so it's super bearish, and it's false breaking a triangle or a pennant right now. So you're going to blow straight through 4,000. You're going to blow straight through everybody's 3,700. You're going to blow straight through everything. You're going to go right to here first. You're going to go to 33, and you're probably going to, I'll show you. I mean, you want me to do it updated? There you go. You're going to go right to 33, probably undercut it, and you're going to cut back to 36, 37 and change, and you're going to go right. You're going to do an ABC whipsaw. What does it do? It's going to be like this first one. It's going to go down, back up, and straight down. It's only going to be 3 waves, and it's going to blow everybody's mind. So anyway, I just wanted to give you some. You guys are not members, but these are things that my members will get a quarterly update. They'll get a chart like this that shows you the path of gold and silver before it happens. And don't ask me how I do that. I've just been doing it so long that I just know. I just know. And I know that our financial system is super jacked. And I know how they're covering up everything right now ahead of the midterms. And I know how oil is going to be a problem coming up, and all this stuff that's catching up, but it's going to be buried for the next few months. And by the time you guys figure out about it and the midterms are over, the market's going to be half price too. But I'll tell you what, the way gold and silver crashes, the market's going to end up following. It's not right now, so don't say he's saying the market's crashing. The market will hang in for a little while longer. It will do a minor correction. My members have the dates. And then it'll have one last rally, and then that's about it. But meanwhile, the small caps and the high risk stuff, like I said, the market is tricky, financial system's tricky. The first thing that crashes is housing, and the next thing is the silver and gold, and then it's the banks. And once you hear about the banks and JP Morgan and how their stocks are crashing, and then you start to, and that's when all the small caps and all the other stuff is going crazy. Is when like JP Morgan, and everybody's afraid of the gold and silver. They're afraid of the banks. They're afraid of real estate. They're afraid of all those things. So they're like, here, I'll buy this little company that hasn't even moved. The stock price hasn't moved in 5 years. Like, look at CGC. Look at some of these small caps. It's the most pathetic stuff you've ever seen. And I guarantee you, within a month or so, or a month or two, you won't be able to find a small cap that hasn't moved. Already, everything that I'm choosing that I've been watching for a long time, I'm just like, I've had a hard list, and I have a secondary list, and I have a third list. And I'm already having to kick them back because they're running before I'll go look up on my hard list. And I'm like, dang, I knew that thing. I've been watching it for a while. But if there is going to be trouble in the small caps and stuff, or it's going to slow down, um, either it's going to diverge and small caps will go just no matter what, and probably China and crypto will go with it, or it'll diverge at some point. So probably you'll see some cracks in crypto since it took off kind of ahead of AMC, which is it's polar opposite of what happened in 2021. AMC led ahead of Dogecoin. This time Dogecoin took off first. So I'm going to look for, instead of when AMC kind of tops, to see like all the, tops on its second leg, not its first wave that hasn't even happened yet. So, by the way, just so you know, on AMC, let me give you a little tidbit if you're still there. This may not even, this is probably the first, this rally looks like kind of the first wave, right? And then you back test. Now you're building structure. So we're just going to do the third wave next, right, for AMC. So the third wave can be 5x, it could be 4x first wave. So if this first wave was 100%, it could be 500%, right? It could be 6x too. It could be more. On a squeeze, 400% is kind of the going rate. It's called the 4618. That's 461% bigger than your first wave. So if your first wave was over 100%, you can count on 461.8% rally for your second wave, right? So AMC will do the third wave, I'm sorry. Yeah, and then it will have, but your fourth wave pullback is your longest. So we'll see. But it will have a fifth wave, I believe. Yeah. So it'll be more of a standard rally, but your third wave will be the sharpest, quickest, and the biggest percentage overall. This will be good. The fourth or the fifth wave will be good if it has it. But if you start from here, the reason why this is usually the most profitable because it pays options the best or whatever. It's the quickest in the highest percentage. This is still a very high percentage if you get out here and buy the bottom. But the reason why people don't make a big deal about the fifth wave is because a lot of people hold, so it just goes over the third, but it has to come back into the first, right? A lot of times, or it'll take a huge pullback. Let's just put it that way. So if AMC goes from here to here, and then it goes up to say 20 or 30 or 14, whatever, 14, and then it goes back to 5 to 7 or 3 to 5, then this goes over that 14, and then it like 4x is that 14, right? But if you don't get out here, then this just is only 4x. And you had to go through this long suffering on this fourth wave. So anyway, guys, that's the long and short of it. And you're welcome. It's something you'll never hear. It's something you'll never believe, and you won't take heed. I know you won't, because the gold and silver people are they're freaking crazy. Like my YouTube, I watched one gold and silver video, and it's just like it's blown up, and they've gotten crazier than ever. They're like religious cult people, and I understand you guys think that it's going to go to 12,000 or something. Yeah, I mean, you also think Bitcoin's going to go to 12 million or 2 million or something. No, Bitcoin will probably get up to, if it hangs in there with small caps, which it may, and gold and silver crash, and they just, all the high risk stuff, it's going to be opposite day, like I'm telling you. all your housing crashes, all your gold, all your safe stuff that all the big boys think they own the world and they have all these safe items. They get rugged first. But what ends up happening is it eventually rugs the market. It takes time. So they first sell their gold and silver because they're trying to sell their house and they can't sell it quick enough. They're trying to sell properties. That's already been going on. So as they dump gold and silver because you know nobody starts renting their property, they can't rent them because they're too high priced now. They can't sell them and they're trying to dump them. So that's why it happens that way. Just so you know, it starts with real estate and then that forces the hand on margins, gold, silver. And a lot of times these guys borrow against their properties specifically. That's why you see some certain Citadel guy always flip. You see him having done load properties and stuff. So that has a very big impact on their portfolio or their holdings because they might be a $50 billion fund and they may hold $5 billion in real estate. So, and then they might hold 300 million in gold and silver, or maybe 500 million, right? But it's not. It's usually their real estate portfolio is the biggest. So as that's going down, real estate is barely. It's dipped maybe 20% in some areas, but immediately it wipes out their gold and silver holdings. So then gold and silver crash immediately, and then they still keep having hope and then they start trimming some stuff like their Nvidia, this and that. So then you'll start to see like the Mag 7 and these things. Once those are either flatlining, topping, or underperforming, and small caps are rocketing, you know these guys are in trouble. So that's basically what you're looking for is the guys with the big money, the way the big money really moves. First, it comes with real estate, then it comes with gold and silver, and then it starts coming with the blue chips. And then ultimately, somewhere during that period, it catches, um, you know, everything. Everything ends up following in the end. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to share that with you. And yeah, if you like stuff like that, and you want to protect yourself or be in a think, have some protected comments in the members area and stuff. I'll be doing that a bit longer. I'm gonna actually, if AMC runs here in the next tomorrow, maybe it does something pretty decent. Maybe gold falls off a cliff overnight. Um, then yeah, I'm gonna talk to all the members. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it for now because I have members, but I'm gonna see how long people want to be involved with that. Because just because I know the forecast for the market, I have a pretty good idea. I know a lot of traders in a few months from now won't. I'll have to teach them how to use puts. Let's just look at it like that. If you're a member listening to the video, we'll just teach you. Same thing as calls, guys. You just buy a put and you sell a put. On Schwab, it's a little more. What do you call it? Yeah, I mean, Schwab, like that's one thing about Robinhood that I think is cool. It's not like you have to buy to open and sell to close. It just you buy a call and you sell a call, right? A covered call or whatever it is. I think it's just called a long bullish call or something on Robinhood. But yeah, you just buy a put, buy to open and sell to close. The same thing. You're instead of claiming shares or getting involved in that, um, you know. Anyway, guys. Oh, one more bulletin. By the way, if AMC goes into money tomorrow, which I do expect it to, we'll see. Um, for the $3 expiries, yes, I will be exercising some of my. How you do that. Okay, so say you bought a bunch of $3 calls that are due tomorrow, and AMC runs. I'll know if it runs partial tomorrow, right? So say it makes a run, but it doesn't hit my target tomorrow, and I don't want to sell all my calls. Well, I have to do something with all my calls, right? Because they're due tomorrow. Some of them are due tomorrow. So I will sell a portion of them and raise money, right? And then to exercise shares. So I'll just exercise my threes. So say I have 100 calls or something, and it goes to, say it goes to 550 or 750, and I make off $3 calls. What is that? 100. That's 10,000. If it's at 2 to 3, it's 10,000 shares, right? So if it goes from 3 to say 5, just to make it easy, goes to 3 to 5. That's $20,000, right? So simply, I would sell. I would probably just say, okay, if I made a full 20,000 profit, I might want to put some on the side, right? I'm going to take my original investment, put it on the side, and I'm going to take a profit, right? Just out of protecting myself. And then I would at least get, if they're $3 calls, I just have to come up with, say I want 5,000, right? Or at least 3,000. Say I want 3,000, right? So that's $9,000. So I just uh, sell 9,000 worth of the calls and exercise the rest, right? Or just exercise enough. That would be 30 calls, right? I'd exercise 30 calls to get 3,000 shares, and I'd have to originally sell the other ones to fund that transaction, right? And I don't know if you guys, some transactions won't fund right away, like on Robinhood. So that's another thing I'm going to help you with right here. If you haven't turned on margin, I know when you turn it on, they'll ask you to borrow your shares and all that. You just say, no, I don't want to lend out my shares. But so people are afraid to turn it on. But in some instances, I'll give you two. If you sell your calls on Friday and you want to take money out of your account and you don't have money in there, well, you have to wait for you have to wait for the 1 day T+1 settlement to take money out of your Robinhood account if you don't have a margin. But if you have margin, they'll settle it right away. So that's an advantage of having margin. And also, sometimes when you do an exercise or a transaction like that, they'll make you wait a T+1. So they'll actually say you can't exercise, certain brokers, okay? So say you try to sell some of your calls to exercise the other ones, right? And they'll say, oh, you need to wait it. You don't have the funds, right? So you end up having to sell all your calls because you can't get immediate credit for. So what having margin does is sometimes they'll charge you a fee, but if you sell your calls today, you'll get immediate credit to either withdraw funds from the broker or to cover your exercising calls. So just so you know, if you run into that after hearing this and you try to exercise some and you say, hey, I was listening to you and I sold some of my calls and I had, $9,000 and I wanted 3,000 shares, so I tried to exercise it and said, insufficient funds. Well, guess what? That's because you have to wait for T+1. I think on a like transaction it's okay, but just so you know, it's better safe than sorry. And then if you ever run into where you need money and you want to, so you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to sell some shares today, and then I'll just pay this bill or whatever. It just makes you more fluid in your account, so you don't have to wait for T+1 because on a Friday, if that happened, say this instance happened. Tomorrow you sold some of your AMC calls because they went in the money and they went to 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever, and you made a bunch of money and then you wanted to exercise some shares, and then you couldn't until Monday. But say AMC closes at 7 or 6 or whatever tomorrow, and then you go and say, well, I'll just buy shares Monday then. Well, what if AMC just gaps to the top on Monday and sells off? And then you go to buy shares and, it gaps up. So say it closes at 6 today or tomorrow, and then it opens up at 12 on Monday and then sells off, right? And it's over. Then you couldn't do that. You missed out on, 3,000 shares at $3 exercise price. If it closed at 6 when you exercised them on Friday, then you would have, basically had double your money. You would have had 18,000 on Monday and sold the shares on the open after exercising on Friday, right? So you would have, but if you didn't have that option, you're out of luck. you missed the whole trade. So anyway, guys, that's some more stuff. Some more. It's not advice. I never give financial advice. I give bad ideas. This is a tough game. It's a tough market. It's one of the hardest jobs. Um, right now, like I said, I can't find a stock of mine that has a decent setup that's not going up. And AMC has a really awesome setup today. As of today, got over 263 and held it this late in the week. It's its fifth highest close for AMC since November 2025. So it's its fifth highest close. So it's knocking on the door. It's ready to go. I know that a lot of people don't pay attention to all these stats, but when you get up there in price, it hasn't closed high. It's kept going up to 270 and then closing at 250, and you know what I mean? So it hasn't held up. So now it's putting on the pressure. Today was the first time in a long time it put on some pressure, some real pressure, price pressure, and closing high late week. You know, a weekly close is what it's all about. So anyway, guys, best of luck tomorrow, and yeah, stop by and see me on X if you haven't. And I try to respond to like pretty much everybody. If you're rude or you just complain like, oh, manipulation and all this, you know, yeah, I usually give you a warning, but I just, there is no manipulation. You're just, you know, the market's tough. That's just what it is, you know. If you're in AMC or GME for the last few years, they've been in downtrends, and that's what a downtrend is. It sucks. So yeah, if you do start complaining and just, you know, all the time, and I don't like that. I block people like that. I can't do negativity. This is already hard enough, and I just can't. You know, I deal with a lot of people on the side and members and private chats and all that stuff, and I got a lot going on. But when it comes to somebody, I'll read everything people write usually. So when it comes to me taking the time and reading, like it's like, bro, like seriously, how about thanks for making a video, or you know, like you guys. That's why I probably won't do this much longer with people, because you just never hear. It's not worth it. Like half the time, I have no idea what trades people are taking, or if they've ever, you know, most of my members are AMC owners, and a lot of them were Beyond um, owners. So I lost some members recently because Beyond had its reverse split and it's not doing that great. So yeah, it's already hard enough to deal with. I didn't get you in those stocks, guys, and I can't get you out. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to do it with you, but I'm down. I'm up one trade this year on AMC on an option trade, and then I'm down on two. So is it a wash? No, I'm down a little bit. I'm not worried about it. You know, I'll keep playing some until it hits, right? So I hope you guys have that mindset too. That if you are going into options, you don't get like 5,000 whatever contracts of AMC because I said something or whatever. What you do is you options are turbocharged, right? But they have to hit. It's like you have to hit 777 at the casino. That's the same thing with an option. So what you do, if you're not willing to pay the price, pay up for longer dated options, then buy 50 a week of AMC or 100 a week at 2 pennies for out of the money calls, slightly out of the money calls, right? You buy it for 2 or 5 cents, and then if the thing runs, you're golden, right? So that's what I do, and I kind of explain that to members how I do that. I like to do weeklies a lot of times, but like put it this way: instead of me buying like January, you know, 40 cent, you know, or whatever they are, just let's use for example January AMC's. Say at like $4, say they're like 50 cents. I have no idea what they're at. Say they're 50 cents though for January for $4 or $5 calls that are out of the money, but they still have premium on them, right? So say I buy some January fives and they're 50 cents. Well, I can buy this week's fives for, well, tomorrow's fives for nothing. They're free. They're a penny. So are the threes. I bought some today. But then I can wait the following week. And if I spend $50 or 100 or $200 a week, my full budget to leg into that stock might have been, usually it's 5,000 if I'm doing a decent play on options. I'll just go 100 here, a couple hundred here. Like on AMC, I on the one run I use $700, and then I turn it into like $4,000, right? So it went to $4,000, and then I basically have lost that back since, and a little more, or lost near that back, like the initial investment, the 700. So I lost like 700 back. Let's just put it like that. So that's kind of how it went with AMC. I made one good option play at a $700, turn it into, I think it was 34 or 38, the exact number. And then I've been doing some other trades on it, and they haven't turned out so good. And I have a few left, right? But that's usually when it hits. So I've been reinvesting that profit, but losing it, reinvesting that profit and then losing it. And then I can tear it out another few weeks. That's why I am, I was getting nervous until today, until it started breaking my key levels, and now I feel better. So anyway, guys, I know that's a long one, but yeah, this is stuff that I may end up having a forum or something, because I know that a lot of my members are foreign. There's a couple of people that are famous in my membership group. I can't say their names, and I would never do that, guys. If you are famous and you want to talk to me on X or something, I grew up with people. I grew up with the Wrigley Spearmint kid, and he was actually his name was John Highholt. He owned the Wrigley Spearmint Company when he was 17, like all of it. But yeah, it was actually a curse for him, and I was totally cool with him. So, and I grew up around a lot of stars and some other people like that, and I'm very confidential. You don't impress me because you're a star. You're just a person, and I treat you as such. I treat you like a normal person. I don't treat anybody any different. So yeah, I'll tell you off, or I don't care if you're whoever, and I can't say any names, and I'll always protect your confidentiality, because I've actually prayed with many people like that. And uh, who was one? Well, I can mention him now. Um, Here, hold on. All right. Yeah, I asked somebody. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say it, but it's Steve Jobs. Anyway, yeah, I actually wrote him a letter when I found out he was sick in the hospital, and he requested prayer. So, anyways, yeah, I wrote him along. I don't know. Some God touched me one day and said, reach out, and I ended up praying over him. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Yeah, that's it. God bless, and best of luck out there. And yeah, let's get on with that gold and silver crash. Let's see what's affected and go from there.